All right, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, everybody. Come on in. Happy Saturday to everybody. Look, how is everybody doing? Come on in, everybody. Let's talk about USC has a current recruiting surge right now that's taking place. And let's hope and let's pray that we can capitalize on this recruiting surge. Man, listen, it's real go time. It's on popping. It's on crazy. I'm going to wait a minute for a couple of people to come on in. Of course, I did announce it, but I want to wait till the Heisman Trophy finish, and then I will go on and try to talk about it. But come on in, everybody, man. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday to everybody. I will put the link. Wow, sounds off. How's that sound? Is the sound on now? Is the sound on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, better. Okay, cool. So you guys can hear me now? Okay, cool. Come on in, everybody, man. Let's talk about it, man. USC is currently having a recruiting surge, man. We want to talk about that. I'm going to put the link in here. We'll talk about it. A couple of people can come on, those who wish to come on and talk about it. But look, the question is, can USC finish? Can they capitalize on what they started? Look, there are some phenomenal things that are going on right now. And look, I think that USC can really fill some holes with players that look. You guys know we losing Jalen Smith, right? We're losing DeCarlos Nicholson, right? We're losing Humphreys. And so when you look at this now and you look at the couple of guys that USC's got, man, I really think I'm loving what we're doing right now in the transfer portal. If we could capitalize off a couple of more defensive linemen, I think it's going to be straight up go time. I'm going to put the link in here. I'm going to wait for a couple of people to come on. But you got, what's up, man? Yeah, it's absolutely, it's heating up, man. Beast mode. Hey, man, we gonna stay focused, man. We're gonna stay humble. Matter how good we do, it's not, man. Look, man, please don't come in here with that. Please don't do it. Don't do it, bro. I don't care about Oregon. I'm worried about USC. I understand what you're saying, and I know, but we trying to get there, my man. We are. I promise you, we are trying to get there. Look, we got to play it the way Oregon's playing it, man. Just to keep it 100. Oregon is playing it with the big bag, right? We got to play it the same way, period. And it's no way around it. And this is the rules of the game. Whether it's Oregon, whether it's Ohio State, multiple teams are playing it the same way. I'm gonna send this link in here for those who want to come on, those who want to talk about it. But yeah, I can really care less what they're doing. But at the same time, I understand what you're saying. We got to follow the blueprint. There's no way around it. But I'm starting to feel like, just based on some of the players that we got right now, the UCF transfer, and you look at what he's able to do, what he's capable of doing. The San Jose State transfer, look at what he's able to do. I mean, these are lockdown corners. Both of those guys are pretty versatile, especially the San Jose transfer. I mean, that kid is extremely physical. He's a Cali kid. And look, it's straight up go time. But I'm going to put this link in here, man. You guys can tap in and tell me what are your thoughts, how everything is going right now. And I want to talk about the Heisman for a minute as well as USC's recruiting, because there were a lot of people kind of going back and forth. I feel like Travis Hunter should have got the Heisman, man. I feel like, look, to do what he's doing on both sides of the ball, I think it's extremely hard. You don't do what he's doing on both sides of the ball, and, to have as many snaps as he's had, that's absolutely insane. But we're going to get ready to take some of this first call real quick. And all right. Right. What's the word?
Man, everything's good. Everything's good, man. Everything's straight with you?
Man, it's good, man. How you feeling about the transfer portal, man? Like, things are heating up a little bit. How you feeling about it?
I'm feeling good, man. I think that I like the two DBs that we got. My biggest thing is, since we losing Ray Jean, I'm hoping we see in this bowl game how Newby and Stevenson show up. So to determine what type of linebacker we gonna need to bring up in here to help for that rotation between whoever we get out the transfer portal to be with Gentry, and we have Newbie and Stevens and Matai. It's gonna be real important on that end. The trenches wise is where I'm just worried about, because we're losing a lot of guys more so on the O line, I think, than on the D line, right?
Well, yeah, the O
Or is it
line. Well,
about the
I mean,
same?
both of them positions of need. But when you look at the offensive line, Amos Talele, Gino Quinones, I mean, you look at all those guys, man. And even if you want to include line play / tight end play, of course, you got Kate Alridge. He's leaving as well. So yeah, we got to really both of those. And then let me say this real quick, because there are so many people. I was having a conversation with somebody on Twitter just today talking about this, and one of the guys was saying that we need to refocus and try to get a quarterback. And I said, look, man, I think a quarterback like Jaden Mayava, and I'm not to give you a long answer, but I kind of got to go through it. A quarterback like Jaden Mayava, who threw for 356 yards against a number one defense in the country, pass defense, and put up those numbers, I think we should build around him, because it is essential it's essential that we get this line straight. Now the people are not factoring in this. They're not factoring in that a high profile quarterback is going to cost you some money. Maybe I'm saying at least 1 to 2 million somewhere. And if we're trying to get those trenches, and you got to think of it this way: a budget. Anybody who's spending money, you have to have some type of budget. You can't exceed that budget, because you gotta be able to stay within that. So I say anywhere from 15 to 18 million dollars or whatever is supposedly supposed to be the money. What's that?
I think. Wait, are they offering QBs that right now between
Oh my
5?
God. Oh man.
I don't think some of these QBs are worth that much. That's just my opinion.
No,
This is the
yeah, no,
pros.
I agree with you. I don't think it's a QB out there right now that's worth $1 million. Well, I mean, that's just me, in my opinion. I mean, that's crazy. But I'm talking about from perspective that the money has to be spread out evenly.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
we have to have enough money. We have to have enough money to get these big uglies. How can we get these big uglies tying our money up into a quarterback? And really, you got to tie it into Longstreet, and then you got to tie it into Jaden Mayava, who's renegotiating his deal as well. So we got to play it right. We got to play it safe. And I
Yeah,
think the
100%.
biggest need, you got to shore up the trenches. Look,
Yeah,
Caleb Williams has proved to us, right, that you could be the best quarterback. You could win the Heisman Trophy. Come on in, Christian. Come on in. You can win the Heisman Trophy. You can have the best wide receivers in the country. But if you don't have an offensive line and the defensive line, you're gonna be lost in the sauce. Hey,
yeah,
thank you for the.
100%.
Oh, go ahead, man. You go ahead.
You 100% right. I don't think I know some people. I've been in a little Twitter space with USC fans. I know we was all tripping about losing RB1 for next season, but we have so many offensive weapons. We don't even need to be focusing on that. Like you said, we
Yeah,
need to just focus on the trenches and the linebacker. That's pretty much it. Because I mean, Mayava, when I seen that game against Notre Dame, I said, okay, we got him now. Okay, we know what we got.
yeah.
We just got
And
to
think about
protect him.
what he did. Think about what Caleb Williams did. I think some of the fans don't look at the big picture. Look, Caleb Williams, and we know that Mayava, he's not a Caleb Williams yet. I'll just say that. Hopefully he can mature into something like that. But Caleb Williams threw for 199 yards against Notre Dame, 3 picks last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
This is arguably a better team, a Notre Dame team, right?
Yeah, very much so. And in that game when Caleb threw those picks, a lot of those picks that he did, he forced those picks. He threw them into bad coverage. He made bad decisions on his own. So I'm all for it. I think we're gonna do well with the D line. I can see us doing well with that. I'm just worried about more so the O line. And tight ends. I think we're gonna be straight. We got a good tight end room with Joey, um, Walker, and we got Matthews down there. hey, it's all about just getting those three guys ready. So I'm just worried about
So, so let me ask you something. How would you rather go about this? Would you rather have it? Would you rather go three offensive linemen and three defensive linemen, or how would you rather work that in the portal?
um three O linemen and yeah, three O linemen and three interior guys. I don't think we need any um outside rushers. I think we got them with Shelby. We got it with especially Cam Fountain. We definitely got it with that. You know,
Yeah.
both of those guys is 6'6" and 6'5". Then we got Gus Cadova coming in.
No,
Maybe if he
Gus
wanted
Cordova. Gus Cordova is a very. He's like one of the most underrated players, but I think a lot of
exactly.
people gonna find out.
Exactly. I mean, maybe if we get one rush in to come in, that's really quick off the first step and can get around those edges. But yeah, it's all about like you said, three O linemen and give me three interior guys, man. That's all I think that's all we need in one linebacker. If we can hit that, because we got enough good DBs. We got enough really good DBs that we can really coach these guys up. I think
Yeah,
we got it. We got the length and everything. I
yeah,
think next year Eric Gentry is going to be the most important piece on that team. He was this year, but more so even though next year he's the heart and soul of this entire team. Everything's going to roll based off him. In my opinion,
absolutely,
my
absolutely.
I think if he was healthy this year, um, with Kamari, we would have been in a better shape. So we,
I agree. I agree because there was some of those guys that the way he would track a runner down and have the ability to extend himself, whether it's the trajectory of a pass going up
yeah,
or just making a simple tackle. I think some of those guys would have been got easily
yeah,
if it
because
was Eric
they were
Gentry.
our two best playmakers. And, since the season, when we had injuries and everything. Oh, I can't forget about we got Anthony Lucas coming back, and he was
Yeah, yeah.
dynamic early
It
on.
sounds like no, I agree.
I almost
It
forgot about big
sounds like
Anthony.
he's coming back.
Yeah, so um yeah, man, if we have him coming back strong with Gentry, whoever we plug in as another linebacker. But we got Jaden Walker too, who could play DB and linebacker.
Absolutely. Man,
So
Jaden Walker, let me tell you about Jaden Walker. That guy played wide receiver in high school. He played linebacker. He could play safety. He's kind of like Desmond Stevens. Desmond Stevens he was a running back, a safety, linebacker. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Jaden Walker is one of those guys and they both from the state of Michigan, crazy oddly enough.
yeah, so I think and we got Matai. We probably don't even need another linebacker. Let's just get the big uglies. Get the big uglies.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this. So we're missing Rajon now, but I kind of knew that Rajon was out of here. I knew it for
Yeah,
a while now.
I felt it
Um,
too.
yeah, yeah, well, yeah, I knew it, and I felt like okay. So you got Mason Cobb and you got Easton Massareddis Arnold. So that leaves us, like you said, Matai. That leaves us with who else? That's coming in. We lost out on Jalen Prolite, so
Yeah.
you gotta look at it as well as the other linebacker as well going to Texas A&M. So you
Oh
got
yeah.
to look at Mikael. You got to look at it like we may need to fill at least one linebacker slot, and make that happen.
You're right. Before I jump off, Jay, because I got to handle some stuff. Um, when I saw the schedule come out for next season, in my honest opinion, people were saying that it looks like it's more favorable. I think it's going to be exactly what it is. It's going to be the same type of schedule. It's going to strengthen schedule how it was this season. In my
Why do
in
you
my
say?
opinion,
Why do you say? When I looked at the schedule, it looked a lot more favorable than I mean, no LSU, no opening up with the SEC, right? We still got to
right?
play Notre Dame, but you look at all across the board. Now we do play Michigan. I don't know how Michigan's going to be as far as I saw Alex Orji just getting the transfer portal today. So I don't know what kind of team they're going to be. We know they got the number one quarterback in the country. But and they're probably gonna lose Mason Graham and Grant. Those two big guys that were just those guys were monsters for like the past 3 or 4 years. So from that perspective, and then we got them at home. From that perspective, I feel like it's going to be an easier game than what it was last year. That's just my perspective. But they're Michigan. They're going to be tough.
Exactly. They're Michigan. They're going to be tough. Iowa's going to be tough, even though they don't have the QB like that. But they got everything else. And they play really good, hard-nosed defense. And that team is physical.
No, I feel you. I feel you on that. But if we play, we got the ability to play physical.
Yes, we do.
UCLA beat Iowa right before we played them, right?
Right.
So I just think if we play our brand of football, let me ask you this before you go, and I got Christian coming in too, but let me ask you this before you go. If we play our offense the way we played it this year, well, against Notre Dame, just forget about the last 3 minutes, and it's heartbreaking to think about the last 3 minutes that's how we lost the game.
It really
but
is.
Forget about the last 3 minutes. But if we play all year like this, Mekhi Lemon had 100 and some yards with 9 passes. It was crazy. We play like that, and we just shore up the trenches just a little bit more. Are we a playoff team?
Yeah, we're a playoff team, legit. Lemon's gonna be our breakout receiver this coming season. After what I saw in that Notre Dame game, oh yeah, he's gonna break out. You got to feed him. He's gonna be our number one, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but salute to you, man. I'm gonna stay on and just listen while I handle some work. But man, fight on, fight on, fight on.
All right, big dog. Hey, fight on. Christian, what's up, brother?
What's going on, brother?
Man, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm all right. I'm all right. Trying to stay up to date on all this portal recruiting. Man, one good thing I'm loving. I hate to skip past next season, but man, the 2026 class. Oh, we coming with it.
Yeah, I talked about one of them earlier. Well, with RJ Sermon, when you look at that class as a whole, I think guys like Xavier Griffin, man, all them cornerbacks, they have no fly zone with that whole recruiting class, man. I think it's gonna be straight up go time with them, man.
People complain about Riley not recruiting. It looked like 2026 is hitting home heavily to try to put that wall back up around California. Because out of all the commitments we got right now, I want to say like 90% of them is California kids.
Yeah, they're California. I think you might have like a guy from Illinois. I can't remember that kid's name. You got
a running back and Gibson. There are the only two that's not from California.
Yeah. You only got a couple guys, but for the most part, they're putting a lockdown. But I even like what he's doing in the transfer portal right now. He's plucking out some guys from California. You know, we got San Jose State guys. Yeah, he's plucking out a couple guys, and I think that's
he's originally from California.
Yeah, he went to Sierra Canyon. Matter of fact, I think he's Kamari Ramsey's godbrother. You know, they went to the same school together. So, I think some people are kind of feeling like that's kind of gonna give some hope to Kamari Ramsey. But from what I'm told, he might be out. I don't know. I hope he stays. If Kamari Ramsey stays, oh my God.
I hope he stays, but it's hard if you got a second round grade to tell the kid to come back.
Yeah,
but I hope he stays, but
yeah. So let me ask you, man, and this is what we're kind of talking about. USC experiencing a recruiting surge in the transfer portal. Where do you see us from now? We got a couple cornerbacks. What do you think now we need to address?
Trenches, man. The trenches. D-line, and O-line, and then go D-line, O-line, linebacker. Since we lost Davis, and we're gonna need some depth at that linebacker spot. We know Gentry gets hurt. Great player, but he tends to get nicked up every year. So we're gonna need somebody to come in and hold the fort. I mean, I don't just from watching all the recruiting news. I think I was on 24/7 and I didn't see no D line or O line crystal ball. The only crystal balls I seen was they had it at 100%, but again things can change. Was the running back from Bowling Green and the wide receiver from Tulsa.
Right. Man, yeah. Hey, have you seen that wide receiver from Tulsa play?
Man, I ain't seen him play live. I seen some
Oh
highlights of him play, but he
man,
can play. Yeah, he can
hey,
play. He he
it
out there
makes me.
snagging. He go get it.
Hey man, listen, it makes me not miss Deuce as much. I miss Deuce, but my God, when I watch him play, that dude really goes up and gets some balls, man. And
He
it's
goes
like
get it.
I always kind of wonder how a guy like that gets to a school like Tulsa, but clearly he could play anywhere in the country.
Yeah, and he runs good routes. He from the highlights I seen, he run the whole tree right of routes. He can run all. He has good speed and he has a good size. He like 6'2", 6'3", and he goes up and gets the ball. He attacks it.
Yeah, yeah,
So he
yeah,
he
man.
looks good. But I want to say I think what's the big defensive lineman we're after from Kentucky. I think he's going to visit Michigan.
Man, I just saw his story where he is man, he showed a picture of the field, but I will say this. He did the same thing with USC. He showed the Hollywood sign when he was there, but it looks like he's there right now. I saw that, so
Yeah,
he must have left USC and went straight to Michigan. So to me, that's kind of concerning. You know, most of these guys, a lot of these guys, just like when they were on their commitment, Chase, he didn't even finish his official visit, and he was like on the spot. I know this is where I want to be. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So you
right,
know, of course, of course, the other guy, San Jose State, he did it in the middle as well. So whenever a guy leaves, it kind of makes me wonder, like, is this is this going to be the commitment that we're looking for? I hope so. But Michigan, we got to keep it real. Like Oregon, they offering up big bags right now. You see what they did
right,
for that quarterback.
right. And I think his last visit is going to be to Oregon, which is never good because they say what they offer you. You go to blank check, you
Did you
come to
see? I
Oregon.
didn't see that. Where'd you see that at?
I thought he was supposed to be going to Oregon before he went to Michigan, and then when I seen him at
No, no,
Michigan,
no, no,
I,
no. He was supposed to go to Miami. Remember?
oh, okay, Miami, okay.
Yeah. He
So
was supposed to go to Miami, and he ended up canceling that. Let me take this super chat real quick. Hey, shout out to you, man. I appreciate your name. I mean your name. I'm looking at your name, and I'm thinking like, what in the world? My bad.
Ja,
You, you said her.
Jackson,
I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it, man. I don't want to mess it up. But you said I heard Lee Hunter is visiting per his Instagram live. I didn't see that. I didn't see that Instagram live, my man. But if you guys watched me this morning when I did a video, that was who I did a video about. Lee Hunter, big time guy out of Central Florida, and I mentioned early this morning that USC was going after him, and now, man, are you sure you saw that on Instagram Live? Because I didn't realize it was going to happen that fast because I just kind of had got that information. But maybe it did happen that fast. Hey, yeah, maybe it happened that fast. But if we get him, I'm telling you right now, if we get both of those guys, the guy from Kentucky and we get Lee Hunter, it's straight up go time, man. I think those are the only two that we need right there. What you think? How many do you think we need right now, Christian?
man, if we can get two studs, I'm good with that on the interior of the defensive line and go to offensive line.
Yeah. Yeah. How many
Man, but
on
my
offense?
concern,
Oh, go ahead.
man,
Go ahead.
on the offensive line, I think we need as much as possible because we didn't have great depth as it is, and we lost a lot, right? We losing two
Yeah.
starters. Then what's the name transferred out. Then we have some backups even transferred out, projected to start next year. Like we we don't want to have the same situation this year as last year, where our offensive lineman is learning on the job because they inexperienced. I would like us to bring in at least a tackle in the guard that got some production. You know what I'm saying? Some playing experience and production to help out. But I think I was concerned today about the guy from Kentucky where we couldn't lock it in place while he was there and he left. And then
Yeah.
I seen about Lee and the other guy we possibly looking at from is it was it from Tulsa? It was a defensive lineman from where's the defensive lineman from? It was Lee and it was another defensive lineman. I think you might have
From
talked about it.
you okay, so you got the one from Kentucky, and Oh, you're not talking about the one from Western Kentucky?
No. It was a defensive lineman today that I want to say was it on
Yeah,
yours there were?
no, it was Lee Hunter. That's what I was talking about.
Okay, he's from out of where?
He's from Central Florida, but he went to Auburn first.
Okay, it's another guy too, number
Hold on,
92. That
let me see
it
because
might
I'm
not have been
on.
you that I heard we was looking at, and I want to say he's a defensive lineman out of not the guy out of Central Florida, but I want
Is
to
he
say
is
he's a
he
defensive.
is he Crystal Ball or what?
No, he not Christian Ball.
Okay, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one you referring to, but I know the ones I've been doing videos about. I know that for a fact that like we absolutely, and that's why I was able to put out Lee Hunter this morning, and of course we talked about Silver a couple of days ago, and then of course gave an update this morning, but USC is attacking the transfer portal, but I feel like if we at least secure those two guys, we straight. Those are both space eaters. You know what I mean? But we're losing so much from well, of course we lost Bear Alexander. We losing Gavin Meyer. I thought Gavin Meyer was coming back, but somebody was telling me after reading his list yesterday, he's gone. But most of our edge guys we do have, but there is a defensive lineman out of Appalachian State. I can't even remember his name. He's visiting right now. He's an edge guy too. He's like 250. So
Later on,
yeah.
I'm gonna figure out the gentleman I was talking about. I just can't remember him right now. I can't remember his
Okay.
name for nothing. Yeah. But
So
yeah, man. But if we can get the guy from Kentucky and Lee, I, that's solid. Plus with uh plus with the guys that we got coming back, you know what I'm saying? Because I believe Cam Fallon is gonna take another big step next year and ball out.
oh
Like I'm
man,
good with
oh
Falcon.
man. Let
I'm
me
good with Falcon.
let me ask you this: how you feeling? And shout out to Sam Green. I saw where he committed to
To
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a good place for him. How you feeling about Sam Green? To me, I guess it's more of an attachment. But when I started taking not looking at it from my heart, but looking at it more from a football standpoint, I get it and I understand what they're doing. They're just trying to go bigger. I think when you
Right.
look at the play the style of play that they're trying to do from an NFL perspective, I think they just want to go big. And so when a guy like Sam Green gets let's go, the heart was in it for a minute. Now it wasn't like that with Quentin Joyner. That's a whole other story. I'm not gonna get into that. Quentin Joyner, yeah, he should still be a Trojan right now. But that's a whole other story. But I understand the football moves when you talk about some of these guys leaving. They're just trying to get better. They're trying to address it from, exchanging other players. Because even guys like David Peavy, I don't think David Peavy was. I know he was injured, but I don't think he was. I don't think he was in the mix. Let me say that to
Right.
be
And
about it.
and that
I
one,
don't.
and you
Yeah.
and you saying getting personal. That's the one that's personal for me because he from my high school, so that's I was attached to Phoebe.
Yeah, he's from San Diego.
Yeah. He from the high school I went to.
Yeah,
So and so I was attached to that one. And the Sam Green, it wasn't. I don't think that move was like anything to do with lack of talent. I just don't think it fits the scheme that what they're trying to do. Because he came in under a different staff where they wanted to the smaller, faster, and so I think they try to beef up in the trenches because they seen playing in the Big Ten just how the game gonna go, and it's like it's with the smaller lines, it's no way for them to stand up to those big offensive linemen. Like we got to find a way to get negative plays and get negative plays consistently. We can't continue to, even though people didn't run for 1,000 yards a game like they did against Grinch, we still wasn't making tackles behind the line of scrimmage for the most part. It was always
yeah,
2 and 3 yards down the field. And we got to get bigger. We got to be able to somehow push that line back into the quarterback's lap on passes to speed up the clock. We have to somehow get negative plays. And I just think that was more of a scheme fit thing to where they trying to get people in to fit Tom Lane's scheme, the players he needs.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yep.
I think Sam Green is gonna have an excellent career at Kentucky.
Oh man, Sam Green is a baller. He's a
Yeah, he's
baller.
gonna ball
I
out.
just think
Like,
that, yeah, he's gonna ball out. It's crazy because I wonder how much he really weighs, man, because I know he's about 6'1", something like that, 6'2".
and
Man,
he's
he almost look like,
muscular. He's built. He's jacked.
yeah, he's jacked. He almost look like a linebacker, but you got guys that play that position. Look, let's face it, we got guys that left here that are some good players. Romello Height, man, that when he went to Georgia Tech this year, what he did at Georgia Tech, but some of those guys, man, they get away from us. And it's unfortunate, but I trust this defensive staff to the fullest. Like I really,
Yes.
if it's one thing that I can say about Lincoln Riley, and I always will salute him on this, is you hired a phenomenal defensive staff. Like Coach Henney is second to none. Eric Henderson second to none. Deontay Lynn second to none. Doug Bell, oh my God, do we even want to talk about the job that Doug Bell is doing, not only in the transfer portal, but then last year in the recruiting class as well. Look at the guys that we got, and then you look at the 2026 class. Like Doug Bell might be the recruiter of the year. You know what I mean? When you
Man.
really just look at it, because he's recruiting. I mean, the guys that he's getting, the caliber of guys that he's getting. I remember when he came from Houston, we talked about this. And I kind of referenced the fact that he was at Alabama before with Mika Fitzpatrick, all of these guys, and he's bringing that same mentality. He's bringing that same enthusiasm and go-gettedness, and he's doing it from a whole nother coast. And that's what's crazy about it. He's now able to recruit California. He's able to recruit the South. He's able to recruit all areas. And man, look, I just really want to salute Coach Doug Belt because he is doing some phenomenal things.
Man, it was crazy, not crazy about it, but what I love about Doug Belt, if you look at all our coaches at every position, the coaching staff, when it comes to recruiting, his guys are locked in. Ain't no waiting and visiting other people. The defensive backs are committing, like, what I'm saying, quick. It ain't no long tenure thing. They ain't going on other visit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't, it's we gonna get this guy. Oh, we got a chance. Like, when he's locked in on his guys, they're coming in. And one of them, I think the recruiting and stuff is lost in the sauce on these rankings because that corner for Rancho Cucamonga, he should be a 5-star. How you the number one player in your
Oh no,
position
man, no,
and you're
ain't no
not a
way.
5-star?
No, it's no way. Who they did? What's his name like that? They got all those interceptions from Sierra Canyon. They did
Yeah,
him the
I was gonna
same
talk
way.
about him too. Matt Reardon. How is he only a 3-star?
Yeah. You guys who are tapped in, you guys know I interviewed Madden on his channel, and I interviewed him prior to the season, and he talked about how he was gonna ball out. And let me tell you, every time I turn around, every Friday night, this kid, I'm posting this on my story because Madden reordered. This guy was getting intercepted. He was not only getting one, he was getting like 3 interceptions a game.
Yeah, he get 2 and 3 a game.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, man. I mean, so yeah, Doug Bell. I mean, for him to do it, and I just think that's who he is as a person because he's doing it on each coast. He did it on the West Coast. He did it on the East Coast, in the South. He did it everywhere. And I just think he's like a silent killer, man, because he doesn't even seem like the guy that's just outspoken, but the way he handles his business and the way he moves, it's just like, man, he's on some real, if you will, some gangster stuff, if you will. You feel what I'm saying?
And it's crazy. You look at our portal. You look at our 2026 commit. You know what I'm saying? It defensive back heavy. He closing his out. He closing his out. They committing. They locked in. They ain't taking vision. So if we can get our recruitment like that at every other position, oh man.
Well,
I'm hoping.
Okay. To the coach's defense, I'm gonna say this. And look, everybody that's tuned in, listen. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps me out in the algorithms. It helps me out. Hey, so listen, and I appreciate everybody. Look, it's showing that we got 600 and some people here. This is on a Saturday, and I appreciate you guys. But to the other coach's defense, real quick, Doug Belt is coaching it's a high demand position, but
yeah, that is true.
Those defensive lineman positions, I think, in my opinion, it warrants a little more attention. And we saw Eric Henderson able to bring those guys in, able to secure a commitment, able to get a commitment. However, on the flip side, it gotta be a little more than just getting that commitment. You gotta give them a super duper bag, because that's a different type of position. And so
They
to
don't
me,
grow on trees like defensive backs.
they don't grow on trees, and they know they don't. Same way with a high caliber quarterback. So I think to Coach Henney and all those guys' defense, I think they're on the same level as a coach like Doug Belt. But what I think is, he gets them in there, they commit, and they don't go anywhere. But those defensive linemen, you got guys that are just waving all this bags around, man, and that's where I think the problem comes in, because we have to do the same thing as other schools are, man. When you're talking about securing that bag, man.
So Jay, how confidence level? What would you say your confidence that the kid from Kentucky choose us?
It's crazy, man, because I always feel like once we get these guys there, I'm glad you're asking that. Once we get these guys there, I feel like it's a wrap. You know what I mean? I feel like we got them. However, and I text somebody this early today, probably about an hour ago. However, when I saw that on this story that Michigan filled, and he's just doing his due diligence, he's just shopping around, he's just trying to get the best opportunity. I understand that, but it kind of made me feel like, maybe yes, no, maybe so. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how I feel about it right now. I'm not exactly sure. When he was here today, he was just here yesterday or today.
Yeah,
I was like, cool. It's about to be a wrap. But now that he's at Michigan, I don't know. Because I've always felt like this too. Last impression, you always have the best impression. You have the opportunity out there to get the best impression. So to me, that's kind of like, wow, man, I hated that he had to even go there. But I think, if he's looking at it from a perspective of, look, I can get 2 in 1. I can get 2 for 1. I can get the bag at USC, and I can get the high caliber teaching, because I got one more year. Because let's be honest, I looked at his production. It wasn't like he had, like, I saw other defensive tackles that had, let me read it for you too. I saw other defensive tackles that had like 30 tackles, maybe 20 tackles. Let me put it up here. But when I saw his production, I was shocked, and I'm gonna tell you why. Let me see. And you can tell me if you were shocked as well. If I could find it, I know I had it up in here. I had it up in my phone, man. I'll be screenshotting stuff all day. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And you can tell me if you. Yeah, here it is, right here. 14 tackles solo, 1 sack, no forced fumble, of course, no INT. You're not expecting that from them. So when you look at that production, what are your thoughts on that? And I'm gonna give you my thoughts on that as to why we're looking at it.
They're not eye popping, and the only reason we're looking at him because of his size and the potential of what we feel we can coach him up and do with him. But the numbers are not eye pop. The numbers are not eye popping like
absolutely.
The ticket to which he's probably asking for. The numbers, the production is not matching that.
Now hold that point. I want you to think about this. You guys, you remember last year, Derek Harmon was the same way, right? He didn't just have a whole lot of production. Now that guy from Central Florida, when I looked at his numbers today, you talking about in 2 years, he had 116 tackles, bro. In 2 years. Now he came from Auburn originally. So that production is different. But here's what I'm gonna say as it relates to him. The way I look at him is, I look at him as this big body. Let me pull that up again because that weight was on there. I want to get the exact accurate weight. The way I look at him is that 6'4", 336. That's you can't teach that. Derek Harmon was the same way. And when I watched Derek Harmon play against Penn State, when I watched him play against different schools throughout this season, because I was kind of leery of his production too. I specifically remember that in my mind. I was like, man, I want Derek Harmon, but his production wasn't there. But then when I saw what he was able to do, everything, sometimes those guys don't always show up in the stats, but they show up on how they affect an individual play. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because really, your defensive lineman, you do want a defensive lineman that can penetrate, get stopped behind. But in the scheme D'Anthony Lynn run, really the big guys are to eat up blocks, and the linebackers supposed to run free and fill the gap. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then two, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead, make your point. I was gonna bring somebody in. I was gonna say, can you hold tight while I bring somebody in?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll hold tight.
Okay. Stefan, what's the word?
Oh man, what's going on with your USCJ?
Man, talk to me, bro. What's the word?
Oh man, I'm just looking at this bowl game right now. I kind of been missing in the action. I'm lost in the sauce right now, so y'all got to kind of catch me up.
Wait a minute. What bowl game? What bowl game?
It's on ESPN. I think it's a D2 school, or no, actually it's Western Michigan, in South Alabama.
It's a bowl game on right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wait a minute, man. This early.
You know they getting started early, man. They trying to get these bowl. They got so many bowl games they got to get through. Western Michigan and South Alabama. Yep.
Yeah, it's on ESPN.
The Salute to Veterans Bowl.
Right.
Man, I did not. Hey, bro. Hey, you got me on that one. I had no idea a bowl game was gonna be on this early.
Yes, sir.
So, man, when you look at this, man, how are you feeling? We were somewhat lost in the sauce, and kind of coming into the transfer portal. It seemed like steam is picking up. It's a surge, man. What are your thoughts? How you feeling these past couple of days? Us getting a couple guys.
I like what the direction, but like how we said, we talked about it before, I really want to focus on the trenches, man. Like I really put emphasis on that, you know what I'm saying? Because because now we're in a Big Ten and we're going to need them big bodies up in there, man. We need them. I feel like as far as the skilled players, we all right. That Deuce Robinson transfer kind of hurt me though, man. I'm like, man,
it hurt me big time, but I'm not gonna say I understand what why he's leaving or what they may be doing, because I had to take my heart out of this thing and reflect a couple of days and really start looking at, because they're looking at some guys. There's a guy named Chase Williams, man. Is it Chase Williams or Joseph Williams? Man, that dude, we were talking about him before you came on. That dude, he's at Tulsa. He looks incredible. You hear me?
Okay.
And I pray that we get it. He's there right now. I pray that we get that commitment. And when you look at a guy like him, I told Christian that if we get him, I won't feel so bad. I won't, it'll make me feel not bad about Deuce Robinson. But and Deuce Robinson's actually on an official visit right now at Arizona State. Did you guys know that?
Oh, I didn't know that. So he's trying to go back home.
I thought he was going to go to Louisville with Miller Moss.
Miller Moss committed to Louisville today. I don't know if you knew that as well.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So salute
you think he's gonna start over there?
Oh yeah, he's not going there. He's not. Yeah, he started. Miller Moss started. They know what he did. Look, Miller Moss blew them up. Don't forget about that.
No, yeah.
Miller Moss not going there to sit down, and I think they do got a quarterback from Bosco. You guys remember that? He can't. What's his name? I can't remember that kid. He never played.
Nah, I can't even think. I think I know you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
I can't think of the kid's name.
He's from Bosco. I think he's from Bosco. But man, I think Miller Moss, and I think they have a decent offensive line, man. But I was surprised. That he picked Louisville.
I was too.
I thought he had other options. Michigan was a good option. I mean, there were multiple good options, but I don't know. Maybe
I'm hoping that we don't lose no more receivers to the transfer portal, man. I'm really hoping these dudes stick around, because I'm like, at the end of the day, what is it that I understand it's one ball. Everybody want more balls thrown their way, and I understand that. Or maybe y'all have more chemistry with Miller Moss, or I don't know what the deal is. But, at the end of the day, I feel like your transfer, or it could be NIL. You know what I'm saying? I hope that ain't the case. You know what I'm saying? Because I hope we treating you right. Because I feel like our sophomore receivers this next year, they're going to their junior year, man, they're gonna take leaps and bounds or whatever. And you can't find a 6'6" this dude, well, they clocked him in at 22 miles per hour or whatever. Like, we can't lose Jacoby Lane, man. That'll hurt right there, man. We need, I'm
pray
big
we
on
don't.
Lemon, but say what now?
That was Deuce.
I
We
pray
already
we
lost
don't.
that. That was
We
Deuce
locked him
Robinson
up,
that
you
clocked.
said?
What'd you
Nah,
say,
that was
Dave?
Deuce Robinson that was Deuce Robinson that clocked in with that speed. We already done lost him.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you can't find that everywhere, man. And I feel like we didn't
Nah.
utilize them right. You know what I mean? But I just hope we don't lose no more cats, man, to the transfer portal. Because at the end of the day, one thing I will say though, and I think somebody said, I don't know if it was Keith or it was Jaywalk, somebody has said it. But if you don't bleed this Cardinal and gold, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't my thing is, at the end of the day, I understand now the NIL deal thing is a big part of what's going on with the, the whole recruiting thing. But my thing is you got to be a Trojan at heart, man. You got to want to be here to turn this program around and all that, and I understand people looking for different things, but it's like, I would stay home. Y'all going out here and like you said, put a gate around, Southern California, period. You know what I'm saying? Because why are y'all going to helping these other schools out? And they, you know what I'm saying? Like, when we can make USC better.
Hey, I got to go back
It's
to.
frustrating.
It's very frustrating, but it's a couple things. I got to go back to what Rajon Davis did when he was on here. Shout out to Rajon.
Yeah.
He's getting a couple looks right now from Oregon State, a couple schools, Fresno State.
He in the transfer portal?
Man, you didn't know. I did a little. You didn't know that?
Oh man, are you serious?
Bro, if you tapped in with me, I told you guys a couple of weeks I've been knowing about this, but I didn't mention the name. I said we got to transfer.
Oh, you did.
We got to line back in the portal. You remember me telling you that?
I remember. I do remember that, man. Damn, it was great.
Yeah. So look, let me get back to that point real quick about so I had Rajon Davis' dad on here, and he said a lot of these kids, they're not the way it's not the way it was when we grew up. Like because we grew up so close to the Coliseum, like that's all I ever even thought about. I mean, you and I'm just gonna be honest. I got recruited by most of the schools in the Pac-12, but I didn't get recruited by USC because of my grades. It was different. The Oregon State thing that I had going on, it was different because of the grade situation. But I'm gonna say this: if I had an opportunity to go to USC, I would have took that opportunity and ran with it. But,
God, man!
They don't see it like that, man. They don't. It's just.
But you know what? I blame that on the parents, though, because like I was brought up, my dad and them was taking me to games. We used to watch on Saturdays coming up. I don't think they doing that no more. They too gonna be playing video games, and
it's a lot of them playing. But I'm gonna tell you this. I'm close with a parent. His son is a big time. He is a big time. He's a big time commit. He just committed to a major school. I don't want to give up his name, but he just committed to a major school. He goes to one of those schools that everybody's talking about, high school.
Oh, okay.
But he just committed to a big time school. And he said, Jay, they're not recruiting Southern California like that right now. Look, even though his son's committed somewhere else, he's always tapping in with me, always calling me because he's a diehard SC fan. Right. He said, even though my son is going here, he says, look. It's USC. Look, that's how we feel. That's the mentality we have. Like that doesn't go away, man. I mean, that's what had me start with this channel right here. Look, my grandma used to watch USC on Saturdays, bro. Like that was growing up.
Exactly.
And so he sees the same thing, but you got so many different things involved with it now. Like, and the NIL, the transfer portal, and let's keep one on it. Those who are from, especially from South Central, like. Bro, they offer you them type of bags, man. It is, it's just, you could pay off some debt.
It's hard to turn that down. You ain't lying.
So we gotta put all that in play. But that's why I said USC has to come up all the way up to where everybody else is, because Oregon. Let's look at what Oregon did today, for example.
I can't stand Oregon, man. I hate them dudes.
look, I hate their guts. Hey, look, I'd rather have Notre Dame win a national championship than Oregon. That's how bad I hate Oregon.
Right.
As long as it ain't the SEC team. I just don't want
Right,
no.
right,
I
right.
don't want to.
Exactly.
I don't want
Christian,
to.
right.
But I can promise you, I'd rather have Notre Dame win a national championship than Oregon. I promise
Man.
you that.
Woo, woo. That's a strong eight.
I'll
That's a strong eight.
take SMU. I'll take them over.
Hey, I will take anybody that's in the college football playoff except an SEC team or Oregon, and that's how I feel about them. But so yeah, man, you got to think they're offering. Oh, here's the thing: Oregon just had a guy from Purdue, the #1 safety in the transfer portal today, commit to them. Now, I'm saying this for a reason, because most of our guys, whether it's Peyton Woodyard, all these guys, Dakota Fields, Roger Pleasant, all these guys that we had an opportunity to get, and we went after these guys. And Dakota Fields was committed to USC. Roger Pleasant, we thought we really had him.
Yeah.
Right.
Woodyard, we brought Troy Polamalu out for Peyton Woodyard. So my thing is, it's like they offering these crazy astronomical bags, Ryan Palum, you know what I mean, at the last minute. And it's crazy. So we have to step up like that to keep these dudes home.
Okay, can I ask you this though? So where we at? What's the news on Eric Gentry then? He all right? He staying home? He staying with us? Don't do me like that, man. You didn't pause.
I'm not.
Come on.
Yeah. He's staying with us. I believe he's staying with us, and I hope he stays with us.
I'm gonna just say this though: when you got this many people, something got to be on. I don't want to say the defensive side because they only been with us for the only this 1 year. But something that got to be with these dudes is where they feel like they got to transfer out, or they feel like favoritism going on, or something ain't right. Because why we got this massive? I don't see this everywhere though. You got bits and pieces like. Couple people that transfer out, but go ahead.
Actually, it's happening everywhere though, bro. But
mass transfer like that though.
Yes.
It's
Marshall can't even play their bowl game. The whole team.
So let me ask y'all this then. So do y'all think going forward that the NCAA should like change the transfer like for limited how many colleges you could be able to bounce around? Because it's getting ridiculous at this point. Like
it's out of control, man. Like it's absolutely out of control, and it makes no sense. Like I'm to the point, like I don't know how you can recruit, not only from high school, but I don't know how you recruit, how you can project your roster for next year. Like you really can't even project what type of roster. You basically
getting a rental for 1 year, 1 or 2 years. It ain't even no more 3 years no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't nobody, if it wasn't for COVID, then, these kids would have been up out of here after the fourth, they don't even stay. Like Matt Leinart came back for his senior year. We love that. We respected that. It still didn't hurt his draft stock, whatever. He still got drafted. What was that? He went, in the first round, I think, third or fourth pick or something like that, or something like that. But what I'm saying is like, some of these dudes, they coming out too early. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like now Sam Darnold balling out now, but I feel like he should have stayed 1 more year with us, whatever. I feel like he wasn't ready. You know what I mean? But I'm saying that. So how would you set it up then? How would you you only could transfer to like one school, or how would you do it if you was to like implement the rule, like whatever?
Well, the fact that they made it like this, and the fact that they of course, start putting the name, image, and likeness on this, and guys are getting paid the way they are. I think that they got to put maybe contract type situations, because if you're bound to a contract, because I'm seeing guys that got NIL offers and they bouncing after the first year, even with the NIL. So if it's more of a contract situation, I just feel like they'll have to be held accountable and bound to that, and they won't be able to bounce. Because like right now, I mean, to get into school, you got name, image, and likeness, but you're not really bound to any type of contract.
Right.
I just think it's hard. Like you really just making it like the NFL. Like what does anybody in college football want to watch? Essentially the NFL all over again.
Right.
You get what I'm
it's like it's just ridiculous, man. These dudes gotta, I understand you looking for like even with Malachi Nelson, it ain't even no guarantee that you gonna be starting next year. Let's see how that go next year. I've been looking at that like
I don't know if you saw. He just hit the transfer portal again. Did you see that?
again.
Bro, he's leaving Boise State. He's in the transfer portal again.
At some point you devalue yourself when you bouncing around like that. Like it looks to me, if I was a coach, a head coach, and I'm looking like, why is this kid bouncing around like that? Unless you just that dude or whatever, it's like, what are you looking for? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to stick out, and it's competition. That's one thing I miss about the back in the day with Pete Carroll, and he breeded competition, man. Like, you got to fight for your position. Ain't nothing gonna be handed to you. And I don't know what these dudes be looking for. Like, you did it in high school, so you got to do it at the college level. And you damn sure got to do it at the NFL level. Ain't nothing for to be handed to you. So I don't know what it is, why they be transferring. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's the deal? That's crazy. I did not know that about Malachi Nelson.
Hey man, look, here's the crazy thing. You couple the transfer portal. I know this is gonna sound crazy. You couple the transfer portal with the generation when you talk about the video games.
Man,
hey, it's like they kind of yielded to the generation, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? I don't know what you think about it, Christian.
Man, first off, the problem is that they push the NIL and all that stuff out too fast without anybody taking a deep dive, cause and effect, and really thinking about it. If that makes sense, like it happened so quick, so there's no guardrails or anything in place. Uh, can't really do a cap like in the NFL to say every school you can only spend so much because there's no way you can cap somebody like their name, image, and likeness. Tell them it's only so much money you can make on that. But as far as the portal goes, they opened up Pandora's box, but they should have left it as it was. Only people who can transfer and play immediately is grad transfer. Anybody else get out?
Yep.
They should have left. They should have left it at that, and we wouldn't have this craziness in the portal because people ain't gonna be willing to sit out for a year. But they don't open this box up. I don't see how they can go back to it, right? Without them having to go to Congress, and Congress is always on the side of the players because they don't like the NCAA. NCAA don't never win in court, so it ain't really. It's really no way that they can tighten it back up. But it was just done poorly. Like the NIL, the new portal, it's like they just rushed it out real fast and then discuss like guardrails or how we gonna manage it. But really, the Congress took that away when they said that NCAA couldn't govern it. So I mean, at this point, NCAA really handcuffed.
Yeah, they handcuffed, and the fact that they didn't put any type of regulations in place, and we supposedly still waiting on that. I guess that answer from the response for the Tennessee situation, and it was supposed to be just like whatever happens at this point until they give any type of rules. But I don't know, man. It seemed like this is the nature that we are right now. And even if you win, I don't know if you guys didn't watch it, but Georgia, look how many players they're losing right now. In the play, what's crazy is
everybody losing it. It's teams in the playoffs losing players.
They got players that are in.
It's teams in the playoffs losing players.
Hey, check this out. They got players right now in the playoffs that are bouncing. Not only that, a report came out. I just saw on Twitter, Quinn Ewers, the quarterback, talking about he's been offered by a Big Ten school. This dude is in the playoffs. He might be $4 million.
Now tell me that did that make any sense to you? I mean, I understand the money. You in the playoffs, bro. At the end of the day, you going to get a good education, and I'm trying to win titles while I'm in college or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? But is the money that serious? Because I feel like, look, I'm gonna say this: if you that good, you gonna make the money anyway at the next level, regardless. So I guess some people can't wait, and they got situations with their family. But it's like, really? That's just retarded. You in the playoffs.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. If somebody offered me $4 million, I can't wait either, bro. I'm sorry. I can't wait. hey, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say see you, and I wouldn't want to be you. You feel me? I'm out, bro.
Quinn Ewers' situation too is that Texas is ready to move on next year for Arch, right? They to Arch to be quarterback, but Quinn Ewers don't want to go into the draft because he's not being touted in the top 5 quarterback.
Did you see Texas game in the Big Ten, the SEC championship?
SEC? Yeah, I've seen him play a lot. He's not that good.
Horrible. He looked horrible.
You don't think he's ready?
Man, he's not even. Man, no, he's not even close to being ready.
But that's why he said that's why he looking at coming back. But he know if he come back, he's not gonna be the starter at Texas because they're moving forward with Arch, and that's why other schools are already starting to throw their bid in. Now, I guess the question is what Big Ten school you think it is? I think it either has to be Oregon or Ohio State or Michigan.
Yeah, because I don't think he fit well. He don't fit what we do.
No, we better not get him. We better not get him.
Man, hey, let me tell you, if we get him, I'm gonna tell you right now, you will hear me screaming on this podcast. Literally screaming. I promise.
It better not be us. It got to be Oregon, Michigan, or Ohio State.
And think about this.
Well, Oregon got that. I'm not to cut you off. My bad, USCJ, but Oregon got the. They got the UCLA transfer from last year, so I think he waiting in the wings.
If they do,
but he didn't look good at UCLA last year at all.
He looked better than Quinn Ewers though.
Yeah,
I mean, he looked somewhat better. I'm not gonna say all the way better, but I don't know. I'm not feeling Quinn Ewers like that. And my thing is, has anybody else capitalized more than a guy like Quinn Ewers? He got the meal ticket, the million from Ohio State. Then he transfers to Texas and get a bag. Now this dude about to get another bag. Like this dude is really making more money than some reserve players in the NFL right now.
You ain't even lying. For real.
So here's the real question. If the NCAA doesn't put any type of regulations in place, you could work the system.
Yeah. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, everybody. Why wouldn't you? Because at this point, they get in the bag. So if you get millions, if you could leave college and have $8 million in your account, or I'm just $3 million. Why would
you don't need the NFL?
Why take money? Who cares about the NFL at that point? I know I'm not good enough.
But this is not like the women's college basketball where they making more money in college, and then when they get to the WNBA, you gonna make if you that player, you gonna make that and then some. At the NFL level. Now I can see why the women to do it, at the basketball because it makes sense or whatever. They making more money than they, what they get in their contracts. But you gonna make that money if you that player or whatever, at that level. I don't know. To me,
what I'm saying to you is because they not that player
on the college level.
They're guaranteed on the college level.
They guaranteed.
And they playing the
They can make it to the NFL and be a buff in the first year. You know what I'm saying? And they be done left for years in college. It's guaranteed.
Hold on now. Well, because the Raiders was stuck with Jamarcus Russell, they had to give him. I think what was that? 90% of his contract. He basically robbed them.
And they stopped that after that. That's when they put the rules in place. But that's why rookie contracts are so low. Yeah, the Jamarcus Russell rule. Perfect example. They stopped.
Because he basically robbed them dudes. And I said, wow, he came in out of shape and everything. They was talking about Juan Soto, like how he out of shape, and they just gave him $765 million. I don't know if you've seen the pictures or whatever. I said, man,
anytime you can make the kind of money that I shouldn't even say that. But I'm just looking like Trevor Lawrence. I don't even know how in the world he got that much money, but it is what it is. I mean,
Deshaun Watson either.
Yeah, I mean,
Deshaun Watson was playing well. Deshaun Watson was playing well before the scandal.
But this year he looked at horrible, man. I don't know what's going on with him.
He shot a whole year of football out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I told you. I said one thing. I said my kids playing baseball, man. Them contracts you can't turn down. I said
it's soccer. The money is soccer. Soccer players are the ones getting them crazy contracts.
Let me take a couple of these calls, Big Dog, before I get up out of here. I'm up here running my mouth away. But man, hey, Stefan, anything else you want to say, man, before we
Oh
get up
no,
out of here?
man! I just hope we don't lose no key players, man. No more key players. We can't afford that though, man. I really hope people stay with us and we can just build off what we started last year and go from there, man. That's all I can say. But I appreciate you know what I'm saying, and y'all fight on, man.
One more thing before you go. You think the
Uh-huh.
right person got the Heisman Trophy?
Oh yeah, Travis Hunter, he deserved that.
Hey,
I feel like he did.
Yeah, facts. All right, fam.
All right, y'all have a good one, man. Fight on.
Thank you. KW, what's the word?
What's the word, man? How you doing?
All right, how's everything going, man?
Just chilling and watching what USC is doing, hoping they're making the right moves to help us for the next season. I'm really excited about what they're doing so far.
How you feeling about it? Like, do you think that they're addressing and attacking the positions of needs?
They gotta address both trenches. To me, it's the most important thing. It's the only thing that really matters to me right now, because when you go into a conference like the Big Ten, you kind of got to somewhat morph into what they kind of do. Your style has to kind of change a little bit. So I think them attacking those trenches will only benefit us in the upcoming years. And I know the 26 class is really like a gold mine, but you have to, for this year, you have to do that because Lincoln really has to show something this year because he's kind of on the clock, so he has to do that.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely on the clock. And let me just say this, because I don't want people to get it twisted. I still believe in Lincoln Riley. I still believe in him as the coach, and I actually believe that if he addressed the trenches, it's going to take pressure off of him to try, with his play calling and everything else. I really believe that year 4 is going to be the year that he has to get it right, and that's why I think that this transfer portal, he cannot miss out on this. It's not only because we could possibly lose this staff, and we saw a guy like Matt Ince. Who knows if we won the championship or if we in the playoffs, Matt Ince might have not even. I don't know. I'm just saying hypothetically, he might not even taken that job. But who knows what would have happened? But I just feel like this is a game-changing year for Coach Riley. I believe in him. I believe that he's going to be that play caller. But we got to build the trenches up. And to your point, I think Caleb Williams, I keep reiterating this, Caleb Williams proved to us that you can have a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, you can have the best player in college football, and you can have the greatest offense in the world. But if you don't establish the trenches and attack it that way first, we're going to be in the same position. So I'm saying that to say, let's forget about stacking up on all these extra receivers. Now, there is one receiver that I'm high on, that Joseph Williams, that I hope we get to replace Tyron Hudson. Yeah, Joseph Williams from Tulsa.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah, I saw the games this year. He's nice.
Man, he's really nice. Incredible. he looks incredible. So I do hope we get him, because we did lose 2 receivers, but if we add him and keep the guys we got, keep Jacoby Lane, keep Akai Lemon, keep Zach Branch. Look, I feel good about that. Don't add any more receivers. Attack the trenches. Has to be the formula this off season in order to really have success, in order for this to be a successful portal season.
Yeah, I think the trenches and the edge are important, because although we have young talent that can blossom and may blossom next year, you got to have like a rotation of edge rusher guy. You got, we need to be able to bring other guys that can really, help us on the, especially on those 3rd and longs. That really bites you when you give up 3rd and long all the time, because you can't really get pressure. So trench and also edge is important. Also linebacker by losing Rajon Davis. And, one thing I wanted to tell everybody about transferring, this is only just a carryover for what's happening in high school all across the country. If you really think about it,
yeah,
kids get to transfer wherever they want to go right now. And if you think about it, what's hurt LA City schools the most with the ability of kids to be able to transfer?
Yeah, the modern day St. John Bosco, that didn't even exist when I was growing up, bro, at all.
Dude, Jay, I grew up in Inglewood. I played Inglewood Junior All-American football. I grew up in Inglewood. I know where I'm from. You know what I mean?
Your colors was probably green and Pop 104, just like Baldwin Hills.
Green and white. Green and white.
Yeah. So you
green and white.
Yeah, you grew up like that. I remember seeing Inglewood back in the day, but you
Let me
grew
tell you
up
something.
like that, and
Let me
it's
tell you something,
crazy.
Jay. I used to carry Curtis Conway helmet. So that tells you on my age, but that tells you what era I'm from. I used to carry his helmet. He was ahead of me. He was ahead of me about 2 years. So like those are like our heroes. You know what I mean? Like Inglewood Junior American was, like you say, you had Crenshaw, you had Hawthorne, you know what I mean? All those schools, Gardena, you had all those places. Like we grew up in that era. So like for me, always the inner city was the melting pot. It was where you got all the talent from in the inner
For
city.
real.
Mater Day wasn't great at that point. Long Beach Poly was always great, but that's the inner city too. You know what I mean? That's just the inner
Long
city of
Beach,
Long
like
Beach. You know what I mean?
Long Beach Poly and Sarah were kind of like
Yep,
boom, you know?
yep.
Yeah.
And Carson and Banning were great in high school when I was young. That's when they had. Look, man, I got recruited by Jamel Holloway to play football. So that tells you I got recruited by Jamel Holloway, the great Oklahoma quarterback. So I
Quarterback,
know
yeah.
I grew up in that era, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like I always, when I see what I see now, living in LA, and you see how everybody's spread out, being moved out, like Sierra Canyon and all these schools in the valley. You
I
start
hate
to see
it, bro.
this in
I'm
every.
not gonna lie, bro. It literally makes me sick to my stomach. I'm not gonna lie to you,
Yeah,
bro. Like
yeah.
it's
But
like
it's
because the
gentrification.
same way.
It's gentrification, though. That's what it is. It's
Oh,
them
yeah.
putting students. Look, man. I grew up in Inglewood. Where I grew up, it used to be Hollywood Park. So Jay, you know what I'm talking about. It used to be Hollywood Park. You go there on Sundays, get your horse racing on. Once they bought that up, the only thing that's left over there is Darby Park, where we used to practice at. That's it. Everything else is gone. They got the new Ram Stadium there. The Clipper Stadium is on the same block. You know what I
It's
mean? They're
horrible.
moving people out. They're offering
Yeah,
people money to move out. And so when you move people out of a certain area, those kids that would have been in an inner city where they would have been plethora of talent are now they're in Orange County, they're in the Valley, they're in you know what I mean they're in Rancho Cucamonga, like all that stuff is them moving you out. So
I
you have to look
remember.
at it
I,
like
I
that.
remember. I remember when all that stuff started. I remember in the early
Yeah,
'90s when everybody started going to Rancho Cucamonga. My family, they didn't go to Rancho Cucamonga. They ended up going to Vegas. But it was either going to the IE or going to like Vegas. My
yep,
family went to Vegas, but to your point, I remember when all that stuff first started. When they started putting the train going down Crenshaw to me, yeah, and then it's just all of it, man. You don't. Your area where you grew up at is going to be it's going to be unrecognizable, man.
yes, yes,
It's I don't even it's certain things I don't even want to get into, but yeah, you see certain things,
yeah.
people
We can have
walking down your street, walking down your neighborhood, you just like, man, this is
right,
different.
right.
So so
Yes,
so so man, but to your point, so I think that we're in a situation where it's like a lot of people, of course, they moving out, and then of course they got the whole establishment to where most of the schools, the Sierra Canyons, the Boscos, and all those schools, they're gonna kind of be those are the powerhouses. That's where a lot of people gonna go, and it's a situation where it is what it is now. As it relates to USC, I think that as far as how they looking at it, we said it. You said how you play for the Pop Warner team. Do you notice? And I talked about this one time on the show. Do you notice that even in Pop Warner, that Oregon has? I mean, just their influence, the what do you call them, the OC Ducks or whatever. Their influence is all over the place, and they see these things and they grow up seeing these things, and so now it's kind of manifested in their mindset. Do you notice that?
yeah. It's kind of like it's always been that way because even Um, it was more so like I know when I played my last year, we played you started seeing NFL teams. You feel what I'm saying? Like when you play Pop Warner, you see like like the Orange County Cowboys or the you know what I mean or something like that or like Cincinnati Bengals type team. They had, the same helmet, same uniforms. And then I
Yeah,
started seeing colleges. I started seeing that influence where you would see Oregon, you would see like Alabama, you would see that type of stuff. So I think that type of stuff, and I agree with you, it does. Because if you're a kid and that's all you see, and you're not seeing USC using that same energy, it
yeah,
will sway you because you'll grow up saying, "Well, I like the Ducks because they're coming with new uniforms and everything." Because a lot of kids are attracted to gear in the beginning, a look, a different look, and tradition is something that you lose tradition when people move out of a certain area and you're not keeping those same traditions. So I do agree with you. I think it's kind of like eroding and the mindset is different. And they don't, because when you're able to transfer without sitting out, and you can do that in high school, that's the mentality that they have. The only thing that they're adding to what you're getting now is they're able to get the bag. And in some cases in high school, you can get the bag. So
Yeah,
all
they
those
are. Some
things
of them are.
right. So all that stuff factors in. And when you go to college, when people say, well, you should stay, that's your home school. It's like, but they don't look at it like that. It's not in their heart like that. They're ready to
Yeah.
jump at any moment. So there you go. That's how I look at it. It's not surprising. It's kind of more disappointing. I agree with you. It's frustrating and disappointing. And that's all you can say. And Lincoln, to his credit, he has to go back in there and he has to establish that and understand that the county of Los Angeles is very important, and he can really build he can build a championship squad in the county of Los Angeles and just sprinkle in certain guys from certain places, and then you'll be okay. But Lincoln
Wait,
didn't
wait,
do
wait,
that.
wait, wait, wait. I don't want to cut in. I don't want to cut in.
Oh, go ahead.
But
You go ahead.
I'm a big proponent of what you're saying. But let's not just limit it to the county of Los Angeles
Oh
because
no,
there's a
yeah, I
lot
know.
of
I'm just saying.
there's a lot
You're right.
there's a
San
lot of
Diego.
talent and
Right.
yes, because
Right. I
like
agree.
one
California.
of
My
my
bad.
biggest one of my biggest gratitude. I'm from San Diego, Lincoln High. We just won the championship. My
Right.
high school just won the championship again this year.
Right.
And I'm talking to a buddy of mine. He's kind of like he's a youth pastor, but he's kind of like the pastor for the team at Lincoln since we all went there. But he's still in the neighborhood, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, outside of PV, like, why our guys are not going to USC? Like, we don't win state championship like 2 or 3 times in the last 2 years. The team is loaded, and he said, man, I'm gonna be honest. He said, I'm here every day, and UCLA, USC, Cal, Stanford, nobody is coming to see our guys. The only people that are coming down here is Oregon. And that's why we got a lot of Oregon.
But that goes back to some of the things that I was saying before, and that is, we have to, and I said that I think Lincoln Riley's starting to do it, trying to readdress the California thing, and we saw what he's doing with Hayden Lowe. We saw what Coach Luke Hewitt did with Longstreet, putting the full court press. But that same type of effort has to be there all year long. Put the full court press in order to make sure you have these guys, because at the end of the day, you got guys not only coming to see them from out of state, but then they offer them that extra money that says, look, man, I'd rather just go ahead and lock in with you. And so I think he's realizing that now. And so I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt as it relates to that. And hopefully, it is what it is.
Yeah, the whole California is important, and I agree. I agree with you, Christian. San Diego. Come on, Lincoln High. That's a USC. You know what I mean? Some of the legends come from San Diego. You know what I mean? So I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, it's kind of more. I don't know if Lincoln looked at it. He took it that seriously because he was so used to recruiting out of Texas. You know what I mean? Because that's where he's from. So he's used to recruiting those kids and not recruiting what he had. He had the gold mine here because those states produce a lot of players. But being great in high school may not translate to you being great in college. So you know what I mean. So players you see that win championships, that's nice, but do they translate, to the next level? And I think that's another factor. And so it's very important you have to look at the whole picture when you're doing that. And because as Jay will say, you could say, well, back in the day, you could just recruit Long Beach Poly, Banning, Carson, Inglewood, Westchester, Crenshaw, you know what I mean? Just Dorsey, and you'll be all right. You know what I mean? But it's not like that now. That talent is gone. And you see it in all levels. I played football, but I went to college for basketball, went to Mexico State to play basketball. And we were doing it so I was the first generation to understand how the movement worked, how they were how kids were moving around. AAU was when I played, when I came out. So when I went to school, I grew up with Harold Miner. If y'all don't remember Baby Jordan, I grew up with him. So
I remember Harold Miner.
Yeah, I remember Harold
so
Miner.
so all that stuff is so we knew what it was about. We knew what was going on. And it translated to football because once football started doing 7-on-7 and passing leagues and all that stuff, that happened when I was that started when I was in the 9th grade in high school. That's when that started because it wasn't California was doing it. First they started it. So it was a weird thing. So when I saw that happen, it's just translating to what you see now. And as Jay said, it's the money. The money part changes the whole dynamic. Because look at Lincoln Riley's situation. He has to recruit his own players after every season. Think about that. Pete Carroll didn't have to do that.
No, and see, hey, I'm so glad KW, I'm so glad you mentioning that. It drives me crazy when everybody try to make reference to go back to Pete.
Right.
I think we live in so much of a different era. You can't even compare. He didn't have to deal with the NIL. You know, the few transfer
Or the
portal players. He got Lofa Tatupu that came from Maine. You know, I mean, the likelihood of somebody transferring in or out, that wasn't very likely. And so now the situation is it's corrupt. It's the Wild Wild West. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And how would Pete Carroll navigate now compared to back then? Would he have the same effect? Because if he went to Compton, Watts, and all these other places, you might not even see the players like he did back then. You feel what I'm saying? So we got to address it that way, and people got to open their eyes and say, look, we navigating through a whole new arena, but the best thing for us to do in order to secure these players, the best players, the bag is going to have to be a big part, and whether they like it or not, you're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to do it right, and then you're going to have to develop those relationships. All that has to play part in it in order for this thing to be successful.
And Jay, one thing I add to that I think that help be successful too. We have to build the fort around California by making it a priority. We can't go out and go after other players from a different state, and then when we lose them, try to come late in the game to get the California kid. Because if I'm that California kid, I'm like, man, I don't want to be your sloppy second, your leftover. You didn't want me at first, but now you lost out on this guy. So we got to make, especially those can't miss players out of. We got to go after them early, and we got to make them feel like they want it. We can't make them feel like we're just after them because we done lost somebody else from out of state that we decommitted and come in late. We got to get on them early.
Yep, that's right.
It goes. Here's my thing to both. Here's my question to both of y'all, because I see this. A lot of these kids now, they think different. They're not even thinking like, I'm trying to go to school to get my degree, to, you know what I mean, to open up another avenue to get money later on in my life. They're not really looking at it like that. They're looking at it like,
that's over.
You know what I'm saying? They're looking at it like, I'm going to school so I can get to the next level, so I can try to get a contract. Hopefully, because I know my career may not last long, especially if I'm playing football. You know what I mean? And try to get the bag while I'm in school so I can have some money. So when I get to the NFL, if it works or doesn't work, I'll have some money on the side. That's how they're looking at it. So when they're looking at it like that, their loyalty to your school is non-existent. You have to look at it this way. They are free agents. They are year-to-year free agents. You're assigning them to a one semester or a 1 year deal. That's what you're doing every year. So Lincoln Riley has to go re-recruit every player that he got brought in the first time and hope that they want to stay there and continue on with the school. That's it. Miller Moss is the outlier.
That's why I say you got to have contracts, man. You have to hold people accountable, at least minimum 2-year contract.
Yep.
2-year contract.
I agree. Because all you have to do is look at basketball. Basketball players don't have to stay. They can go 1 year and that's it. You know what I mean? They out if they're high. You know what I mean? If they're highly rated, they're out. So you have to look at it like that. You have to look at it like those football players are trying to think, and I can go to the NFL or whatever. That's how they're looking at it. And it doesn't matter what school that they go to, as long as it gets them to their end goal. So to me, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest difference. Which is why I agree with you, Jay. It's hard for me to really get on Lincoln like that because his situation is so tenuous because of all the work he has to do just to maintain a regular squad, because you have to worry about, and when people complain, I'm like, you don't understand what's going on. He has to re-recruit these dudes,
they don't.
then go
I've been trying to
somebody.
I've been trying to tell people this for the longest time, and I got to take this other call, fam. But here's the thing: what I will get on them about is that you got to get the right manager around you, because at the end of the day, when you have a budget, when you have things that you have to really, balance all across the board, and accounting, things like that, when you're dealing with money, you have to have the right individuals there that can know how to distribute these funds and really balance a roster. Like, we're talking about NFL style type stuff. You can't just have a guy that's just freestyling it. So I'll say that about, as it relates to him. But to your point, this is not Pete Carroll era, so you can't hold him to that same standard. I don't believe that. I mean, people crazy if they think so.
I agree. All right, man. I just wanted to tap in.
Man. Hey, I appreciate you tapping in, man.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, Christian. See you. Give it y'all later, man.
All right, my man.
All right, man. Be careful, brother.
Dan, what's the word?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Man, what's the word, man? Hey, let me ask you this before you get going. Did the right person win the Heisman Trophy?
I was just I completely forgot it was going on today, and they told me it was Travis Hunter. I guess so. I mean, this year, yeah. I mean, he deserves it. He's a two-way player. He plays good. I mean, I know everyone's talking about the Boise State guy, but I mean, this wasn't really a year other than Travis Hunter, in my opinion, that was a dynamic, just like I don't know. It's hard to say like a. It wasn't a year where there's so much top talent that it could have been. It was hard to choose, but like.
Yeah.
I don't mean Travis Hunter put in work, so I mean he could win it. It doesn't,
Yeah. He balled out. But what? So yeah, I agree with you. So what's your thoughts on what we're talking about tonight?
I tuned in late, so I don't really know what y'all was hitting on, but it sounds like you're talking about NIL. My thoughts are, I just think everything is gonna boil over to a point where like it's gonna get close to semi-pro or NFL contract side. Because let's keep it 100. These are not NIL deals. These are just kids. Kids are basically getting paid to play college football because NIL. You don't see these kids on soda cans, on Sprite cans, on commercials, on billboards. That's NIL, which is fine. Some companies paying you because to make the money because for advertisement and name, image, and likeness is NIL. That's not what's going on. This is being paid to play, which is fine. They're getting paid. So now it's only going to be so much that a coach and a program can take, not knowing who's not going to be on your roster every year, trying to recruit the same kids, and then you got these unproven kids coming in making $5 million. You got the dudes on the roster not making that much money, so it's not gonna last that long like that. They're gonna have to have like some kind of like maybe freshman salary cap, and then maybe contracts of like if they leave in the portal too soon, they're gonna lose their money. I think Bill Belichick coming from the NFL to if you heard what he said about how he wants to run North Carolina, he knows his stuff. He knows NFL contract because he was a GM too with the Patriots.
Yeah.
So like if these kids and their parents really want to play this game and be professional, then they expect contracts to come down the pipe. Because Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, these kids like LSU, they're blaming Brian Kelly, but Brian Kelly had the quarterback locked up all year long, and then come December, right before signing day, someone steals your quarterback because they doubled the offer, and then now what? All the other quarterbacks are all sold up. So now
Well, how many times have we been victim of that with Oregon? Yep, I agree. We've been victim of that with Oregon. You know, Oregon did with Ryan Palin. We had him the commitment. He was at the commitment ceremony, and then his own brother, who's the head coach of Milliken, he said he didn't even know that was happening. I think it shocked him. And his brother went to Oregon, but he was expecting him to sign at USC. So it's like this is the nature of the business right now. And here's the thing: I want to know if you guys think this. I think that the quality of college football player. I'm wondering if we're gonna even see that type of level anymore, like high caliber guy, because guys are not staying at one place in 1 year. Like, in order to develop, I think not only do you build relationships, but I think you got to build a level under a certain particular teacher in order, because different teachers have different techniques. And so, how are you learning anything if you're bouncing around? You get what I'm saying?
I definitely get it, and I've been saying today's football it's gonna hurt the NFL. You're gonna see so many players come in that's not ready to play. Ready to play that's not developed, and it's like we spend all this money. I mean, the NFL gonna be doing like the NBA do. They're gonna be drafting off potential. They're gonna be drafting off potential and what they think the person's ceiling is. Like it's crazy, man. It's out of control.
It's out of control. And so
And
I
I
think
see why. I see why Nick Saban. At first, I was like, "Oh, Saban can't take it now. People can play equal playing field." Saban can see where the game was headed, and that's why he's like, "I'm out of here." I understand. I understand.
well, let's just be real. My son, he had a friend who went to Bama. I mean, let's just keep it real. A lot of stuff was done. He played at Bama. He played D lineman at Bama, and it's a lot of stuff that's under the table, and they rather have it like that. And yeah, the brand of football was probably better because we didn't see. I'm just gonna keep it real, like covering this stuff, the transfer portal. I'm not gonna lie, I never in my life thought it could be this crazy and stressful. Like every time I turn around, I'm having to redo a edit or something on the film because it's like these dudes it's incredible. I mean, I've never.
It's hard to keep up with, man.
Hard to keep up with. Like college football has become a year-round sport, really a year-round, because the way this transfer portal window is open now, and now it's like whatever, anything goes. It's crazy.
Then I would be a fan.
Yeah. So I mean, like the transfer, I think, like I said, I think it's going to eventually boil over. Like these programs, there's only so much you can take. Like the transfer portal, I know they used to say like, coaches can leave whenever they want, so why can't the kids leave? But yeah, but coaches don't leave every year. They don't hop to a program, sign a contract, and they're gone next year, unless they're like, a highly sought after position coach, which they're trying to upgrade, which is understandable. But head coaches, they're not hopping from program year to year. So like it's like you can't even do it in NFL, NBA, no sports who were getting paid like these kids. You can go into a team and just leave. It's like the next year with no repercussions. You just enter in a portal. So like I think they're gonna have to like have some kind of contracts only to make it, to sustainable. Because these coaches gonna eventually leave because it has to be a headache. Put yourself in a situation. You got boosters. Everyone talking about you can't win games. You're not recruiting kids, and you have a top 5 roster in the recruiting class. And come December, all these thirsty programs realize they need these players, and they just overpay, and you're losing your players. Like, oh boy, I forgot his name. He probably has never even been to Miami in his life, but he's leaving Cali to go to Miami, who don't even win, which is fine. He's getting the bag probably, but we know why. But so that's what I'm talking about. There's and the early signing period is gonna have to change. Like if you're gonna have to let these kids, if they're interested.
Man, you break.
Hello?
Are you there?
Yeah, I think we lost him. I thought it was my phone at first.
Dad,
I thought I saw that.
you breaking
The
up,
contract
man.
whenever they want.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, you broke up a little bit, but I totally agree with you, man. It's just they're gonna have to put some rules in place, man. But I gotta take this other call, man. I appreciate you tapping in, man. Really appreciate you. I know you're moving and grooving, you out there and about. But I appreciate that input, man. Are you there?
I think we lost him.
All right.
B.
Brian, what's the word?
Oh man, I'm here. I'm a little late, but I'm here.
What's going on, B?
It's all
What's going
good,
on,
man.
Chris?
I was wondering where you was at, man. I said, man, Brian, I know Brian be tapping in. What's the word?
Yeah, I was on earlier with Christian and Carter Sports, but I had to run out for a minute. But
Oh, wait.
and we
You
talked.
you did a lot. Well, who did a lot?
Carter Sports had one earlier.
Okay.
It was like earlier today, right? It was like maybe 2-3 hours ago, something like that.
Oh wow.
About 2 hours ago. Yeah. So
Okay.
No, it was longer than that, Brian. It was
It was
longer than
like-
that ago.
probably, probably was.
It's 9:30 right now. So it was around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, something like that. But
That's what's up.
and we talked about this earlier. We touched on this earlier. Until they put some guardrails on that portal, NIL you can't really cap because it's their image and their likeness, and we live in a capitalistic society. So you can't really put a guardrail on how much a player makes. Now, it was actually college football was actually better when they were playing under the table. If you ask me, it's better.
It was
This
better.
right here.
It was definitely better. But what I hate about that, Brian, is how like the influence of the playoff committee and all the ESPN being tied in with
influence.
the SEC. It was terrible.
It influenced, but it wasn't the wild, wild west. Right now, we're living in the wild, wild west, and a lot of the college fans is gonna get turned off by the way at this rate that college football is going. You might as well actually you would say at this rate the NFL is better because they can't jump ship every year. So
That's why I say you need to have. That's why I say you need to have contracts.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to have some type of stipulation on that portal, and I think Christian was talking about it earlier over on Carter Sports Channel that to where they sign at least these 2 or 3 year contracts, and unless the head coach leaves, then you can't leave. But if you do, of course, we revert back to the grad transfer, or if you transfer, you got to sit out. But this is typically a 1 year free agency market that we're in right now. And a lot of schools are going to get outbid. Even during the season, it's against the rules for the coaches to contact these players. But That's not saying that the agents can't contact these players and let them know, hey, look, we got a word from another kid that I represent that say that, this, school X got, this amount of dollars for you. If you're not happy with the amount of snaps that you're getting, come over here, get in the portal in December. And that's what those kids are doing. So a lot of fans are going to get turned off by the current state of college football, and you'll see actually a decline in viewership.
No, I agree, and I don't feel like player wise, I don't think the players are going to be developed the same way.
No,
like
no, they're not.
Before you came in, I said players, you got to be under somebody's teaching at least for a couple of years to kind of learn something, man, to kind of get technique.
Right.
Everybody teaches a different technique. So how are you going to bounce from one place to another? Yeah, you get in the bag, and most guys are getting in the NFL. They've already established that foundation to where that technique they were under somebody. But to bounce around straight out of high school, the speed level from high school to college, it's so much different. And to bounce around like that, bro, I think we're gonna be seeing players that are undeveloped going to the NFL, and it's going to your point, it's gonna make it a weaker level of football than what we've ever seen.
But what's going to happen is the one pro to it is that it gives the players that may not have the opportunity to go to the NFL a chance to make some money. That's the one pro to it. But the con to it is, like you said, I agree with you. You're going to have a lot of undeveloped kids because they're going to be used to jumping around from system to system. And they're not going for development. So let's just get this out of our head about the relationships, because you're not seeing that many recruiting where they're developing a relationship with these kids. Sure, we can say, hey, look, let's recruit Southern California, but the majority of kids' situation is going to vary from household to household. So if you got an opportunity, let's just take Hayden Lowe, for example, and I'm not singling the kid out, but I'm just using it as an example on this show. Miami offered him a bigger bag, but not only that, from what I understand, his sister got something out of the deal too, right? So now, of course, it'll be more attractive for him to go to a place like Miami because, both he and his sister are eating off of that deal. To where somebody like a Cam Fountain is coming for the networks and for the education, and and the bag is a byproduct of it. So very seldom are you going to see a situation to where these kids are strictly coming for what's outside of football. Those days are long gone. It's, hey, look, how much can you give me, and how much playing time am I going to get? And if I don't like it at the end of the season, I'm out of here.
Yeah, this is the environment we're in right now, and that's why some have been able to adapt and some have been able to adjust and better than others. I think when you look at these schools, whether it's Oregon, whether it's Ohio State, it seems like some of these schools were able to adapt. And if players really look at what some of these coaches are doing, I brought up a point about Oregon just getting the number one transfer portal commit safety today in the portal.
Who was that?
Safety.
He came from Purdue. They just got him today. So I'm saying that to say, I wish some of our local guys, like a Peyton Woodyard, these guys that play safety, you look at all these guys that how much are they really caring about you? When they constantly getting these guys in the portal, they just got Muhammad that came from Washington last year, right? They getting all these guys. So is Roger Pleasant, is Dakota Fields, or is Peyton Woodyard, are these guys going to even have the opportunity to ever really just step on the field? I just wonder if they are, because, but this is the environment we live in. So I'd rather see guys stay loyal to the soil, stay home, get the bag here. And, because I feel like in some positions, I feel like we will allow you to play at least 1 or 2 years. You know what I mean? You won't.
Well, that's the thing, Jay. So many, for so many years, the NCAA has put a stranglehold on these kids' opportunity to make money. This is retribution right here. Let's just get this out the way first.
This is retribution. They got to get their money. Yeah.
So now that the floodgates are open, it really, for a lot of these kids, it doesn't matter whether or not, the bag is priority. So if you're paying me $250,000 to sit on the bench, a lot of these kids will do it. You understand what I'm saying? Because they haven't seen this type of money in their life. A lot of these kids probably won't see it, at the next level unless they sneak in as a undrafted free agent. So they'll take that opportunity and then sit for 3 or 4 years and then transfer out as a graduate transfer. Well, now you're really on a 1-year contract to where you might transfer to another program and get a chance to actually see a field. But over that 3-year time span, you made about a $750,000. You
Yeah.
made that much money just sitting there. Just sitting there. So until they put a guardrail with this transfer, and that's the main issue is the transfer portal. That's the main issue right there. And the contract. So I see them eventually having to start a players union and negotiating in contracts. I'm serious.
I can't even believe I'm hearing this.
Remember, they talked about that at Northwestern.
crazy.
I think there's some kids from Northwestern that tried to start that players union. But eventually, that's what it's going to have to come down to, because every year you're going to find yourself, like you said earlier, trying to re-recruit these players. And if their production was up, they're going to come to the table. Hey, look, let's just take the kid from Alabama, the receiver, the Ryan Williams kid. He came in, making X amount of dollars. Well, he's proven on the field. You think he's gonna sign for the same amount he signed for last season? No, he's not.
Right.
He's gonna ask for probably a $2 million increase. So now the coaching staff is gonna have to re-recruit this kid, come with a bigger bag, or guess what he's gonna do? Jump into the portal.
But that's why Ryan Day, and I keep bringing it up over and over again. Ryan Day said, I need $13 million just for my own roster, not the transfer portal, just for my own roster. And he
for his current roster, right? For his current roster, right?
For his current roster. Right. So if he understands that, our coach is going to have to understand that as well. I say our head coach is going to have to understand that as well. And when I see a guy like Quentin Joyner go, to me, I hate it, because I feel like Quentin Joyner was that guy.
Here's the thing, though, Jay. With the amount of TV money that they make, man, everybody can eat. Everybody can eat. They can actually pay these kids a fair wage with that TV revenue that they get.
$100 million revenue deal with the Big Ten.
Yeah, you can pay these kids that enough for them to be able to get in a situation to where they can actually stay at a school and actually be developed. It's just that they still got this stranglehold on that TV revenue, and these kids see what's going on. They see the amount of money that's being passed around. The only difference between Oregon and everybody else is they got an open checkbook.
Unlimited.
They didn't have to do a Ryan Day and go before the media say, hey, look, I need at least $14 million just to re-recruit or keep my current roster in place. This is not the transfer portal, and this is not the recruiting class. This is his current roster. So imagine if he needs $14 million to keep his current roster, what he gonna need total? He probably need about $20 to $25 million total per year. Year.
Yeah, man, it's so crazy. Didn't Army just play Navy today?
Yeah, they played Navy today.
Look, I'm literally, somebody just sent me a post. Army starting running back. Army starting running back is entering how you enter a transfer portal? You just got to finish playing the game.
But see, that's the thing with Army and Navy, man. Those dudes that playing, they probably those dudes that play with Army and Navy, those dudes probably 24, 25 years old. So he's entering the portal. A lot of those kids don't play at no 18, 19. They're similar to BYU. You know what I'm saying? They're similar to those. A lot of those kids are grown men.
I'm gonna tell you, Jay. I'm gonna tell you this though. He can play.
Yeah.
That Army back is good.
But that's what I'm saying is, this is the reality. Now, the only reason he was able to put that up, not allegedly, I don't want to accuse nobody for nothing, but let me say it like this. What's happening is these guys are being contacted through the middle of the season. They already know that, look, when portal time comes up, I'm about to bounce.
Right.
Because I know my value. Somebody's already reached out to me. That's what's happening through third party. How do you think he was able to just say that?
Right.
All of a sudden he's entering the portal. But this is the nature of college football. And the only thing, look, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Certain teams are already ready. Look, they got their guns in the holsters already. All they got to do is pull them out, start popping. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But we don't even have no bullets in the gun. We pulling the gun out, but we don't have no bullets in it.
I think we got more so of a starter pistol. We got the blanks now.
Hey,
Shooting
I
blank.
tell you, yeah.
we try to
I tell you what
go
though,
to a
we
gunfight with a water gun.
we're not in a position to compete with the Oregons, even the Texas or the Texas A&M. You have to think Texas and Texas A&M got access to that oil money, right? But we talking about Oregon, they're on a whole different level with Phil Knight and that Nike money. That's a whole
Yeah,
different level that they're playing with. So anybody that's recruiting is going to have to come in second behind Oregon. So however you decide to work that out, whether or not you're going to go to your donors and ask for extra money, whether or not you're going to allocate more money from the TV revenue or from these bowl games, however you decide to do it, it's going to be second to how Oregon is playing. Oregon
yeah.
probably couldn't wait for it to pop off the way it popped off.
But I will
You
say
understand what I'm
this:
saying?
you guys remember when I started almost 3 years ago now? Believe it or not, the situation was really. You guys remember we talked about stayed out, and then how everything changed. You had the different collectives. Everything is coming up to par. I think we got anywhere from 15 to 18 million. We just have to use our money very, very, very wisely and use it the right way. And anybody that's just coming on, I stated earlier, some people were talking about quarterback. I don't feel like we need to even consider looking at a quarterback. Number one, the price tag is going to be astronomical. That's number one. Number two, I'm comfortable with what we have in JD Miami.
Well, we're gonna need at least a backup though, Jay.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about a high caliber quarterback that's going to
No,
require.
not a high caliber. No, not a high caliber.
I mean, I hear people talking about. Well, somebody hit me today on Twitter and said, I don't think I don't have confidence in JD Miami. I said, listen. I said JD Miami threw for 356 yards against the number one pass defense in the country. Well, he says, well, Notre Dame ain't. I said, listen, Notre Dame beat a good Louisville team. They beat a good Texas A&M team. They beat a couple of teams. It's not like so. I said, look what Caleb Williams, and I said Caleb Williams is one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He won a Heisman. Right. He threw for 199 yards last year, 3 TDs against Notre Dame. JD Miami against a better Notre Dame team, arguably easily. I think he did a phenomenal job.
He had better stats, and you have to remember, you just got to get he really only played 3 games this season, so you just got to get him acclimated. You got to get him acclimated to Riley's system. With his height and his arm, he got a lot of measurables that a lot of other college quarterbacks don't have. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we're fine with him. I just think that we need an insurance plan in case he gets an injury or something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But we don't need to be paying no $2 and $3 million when we need to really shore up the trenches. Right. And somebody say, well, JD Miami doesn't fit the offense. I'm trying to figure out what were they looking at. JD Miami, the games we saw him break a couple times, whether it was for 15 yards, 14 yards, wherever. That JD Miami was mobile enough. He has the mobility to move and groove. I don't understand what some people be looking at when they actually looking at him. Talk about he's not the quarterback he really wants. I think they just want to try to put some information out there that's just crazy.
And we got what we asked for when he came in, because 2 out of 3 games he put us over 30 points and we couldn't score more than 20. We couldn't get more. We was losing games 17 to 20, 24 to 20. We couldn't score over 20 points all season. You know what I'm saying?
Against Penn State, we scored. What was the score for Penn State?
It was 33 to 30. 33 to 30.
We scored against Penn State, and then Michigan. We did go up there in Michigan, and Middlemore, he did a good job. But of course, the picks.
Well, we only put up 20 against Michigan.
24.
It was 24.
Yeah, 24-27. Yeah. So we didn't. But with JD Miami, out of 3 games, twice we went over 30. And UCLA, we went over 30, except that bad red zone performance as a team down there in Trench Street time. So
how many times did we go over? We went over 30. We went Wisconsin. We went over 30. Penn State.
That other team, Utah State.
I don't even count that. I can't count that.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. But that was all before But with Miami, out of 3 games, he put us over 30 points.
Right.
Okay.
It was closer to what Raleigh is used to averaging, as opposed to having Miller Moss in it. Like I have been saying all season long, we were trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. He just did not fit. You had defensive ends, rush ends, just stretching out wasn't even worried about the potential of the quarterback taking off. And again, with Marva's size, we were able to do certain things we could do with Miller Moss, like go on the center and do a quarterback sneak from the 1 or the 2 yard line. And even with
The
that play
screen game,
where
the screen game was a lot better with Miles.
even with that play where J. Marva jumped up and stretched the ball out over the goal line, there was no way in the world that Miller Moss could have done right. So there's no way in the world that Miller Moss could do something like that. You just can't teach 6'4", 6'5" with a cannon arm. You can't do it. Now, once he gets acclimated, I think the offense is going to run smoother. And another thing that I said on Carter Sports Live is that you don't need 4-star receivers in the Big Ten. You just don't. So if I had to choose, give me 2-star receivers in a good running game, because, in a set where you got 4-star receivers, somebody's not going to be happy about touching the ball. Somebody's just not going to touch the ball. So you get you a good running back, a bell cow, and you get you 2 good star receivers, one for the red zone, and like a Jacoby Lane, and a receiver like Makai Lemon that he's dependable. He's going to stretch the field, and he could take it the distance. If you ask me, that's just my opinion.
No, I agree. But Lincoln Riley, I do think that Lincoln Riley has to. He wants good receivers. I'll say that. I can't see Lincoln Riley having some average receivers, and I think all of our receivers now are above average guys. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I really, and hopefully all these guys, we can keep all these guys intact, man, because I love these guys. I love Deuce.
Oh, one already gone though. We already lost one in Deuce.
We lost 2. We lost Robinson, and we lost Deuce Robinson.
Yeah, I'm talking about as far as the ones who was considered to be a part of that core, that sophomore group. When you look at Branch, Deuce, Lane, and Lemon. If I had to choose between the 2, and I'm not saying that either one, I'm not calling either receiver a bad receiver. All of them I think were good. But if I had to choose between the 2, give me Lane and Lemon.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Barry Fisher. Thank you for the super chat. He said modern day was transferring players back in the 60s. I used to hear modern day back in the day getting players, but I don't think, Barry, it's as the way it is now, it's kind of out of control.
Man, these kids moving states these days, Jay. They moving states.
The inner city is pretty much gone. I mean, it's just not even nowhere near the same as what it used to be. So I mean, hey, it is what it is. But look, fellas, man, I can't even believe this. 1 hour and 51 minutes. I don't even know how that happened. Man, this is crazy. But man, look, I'm gonna take a picture of this so you guys can see this. This is 851 people in here right now. I'll take a picture real quick so you guys can see it. I'm gonna post it up. 851 people between Twitter and YouTube, man. So shout out to everybody that has joined. We got 200 people exactly on YouTube, and I guess everybody, the other 652 people are on Twitter. Okay. Man, everybody that's on Twitter, man, I need you guys to go over to my YouTube. I'm gonna stop having to show this on Twitter, but I need you guys to go to my YouTube and subscribe. Can you do that? It's free. Everybody that's listening on YouTube, it's free. I'll still post it on my Twitter, but help me out. Go to USCJ on YouTube and subscribe. It's free. It helps me out with the algorithms. It helps me out. I kind of do this as a courtesy on Twitter as well. I'm getting more views on Twitter. It's crazy. Can you go to YouTube? It's 200 on YouTube and 651 on Twitter. That's wild. So look, man, fellas, I'm out of here, man. And until later on, man. Look, anything else you guys want to say before we get out of here?
No, you guys be blessed, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same thing.
I might be doing
something
tomorrow, man. We'll see. We got some buzz going on, man. And recruiting it's heating up. It's experiencing all kinds of surges going on.
I hope it's some defensive lineman. I hope it's that.
Hey, man, let's say our prayers tonight, man, for real. And we got it. Hey, look, we can't strike out again, bro. Like Brian, you just coming on. We can't strike out. Leaky got to get this right.
No. He definitely gonna have to. He definitely gonna have to hit the bullseye this year. We can't penny pinch like we did with Harmon last year. And he's a difference maker of that Oregon. And it was another defensive lineman. Was he from TCU or something like that, Jay?
Yeah, Dominique. And he didn't. And the thing about it, he went to Oklahoma, and he didn't really. Well, Oklahoma, look, if we could have at least had him along with the other guy that came from Louisville.
For depth.
The other guy that came from Louisville, I think he went to Texas. Both of those guys are local guys that it's like, man, we could have got those guys in transfer portal, but they weren't willing to pay that. Other teams, I'm hoping they learn that, look, we need even a guy like Derek Harmon. I think Keyshawn Silver, I kind of think he's kind of similar to a guy like Derek Harmon. And even though the numbers are not there, 14 tackles, I think him being a space eater is going to really, really supplement for all that, man. So, yeah,
well, I'll close with this, Jay. Lincoln Riley, this upcoming season, 2025, he's going to have to make it happen. I'll close with that. He got to make it happen this year, this upcoming season.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree. I agree. And I like what I see in the recruiting trail right now. I think, like I said, the defensive staff, they lights out, bro. Like, they are absolutely lights out.
Belt is doing his thing.
They really, Doug Belt, he gets the MVP, right? Doug Belt, Eric Henderson, both of them, man, they kind of running neck and neck. But, man, Doug Belt right now, today, MVP. Tomorrow, it might be Eric Henderson.
Right.
So
I agree.
That's how I play that. Yeah. So, all right, family. Hey, look, man, I'm out of here, man. Until later on. It's almost been 2 hours, man. This is crazy. I got to go to church. But, look, man, hey, until later on, listen, everybody stay blessed, man. Fight on, fight on, fight on.
Fight on.